Napoli's 97-98 season would be nothing short of disaster, as the historic club ended their 33-year stay in Italy's top flight. But what if you go back to that year's edition of Championship Manager? Is it possible to avoid relegation? And just like that, we've returned to the mid-1990s. We're just 7 years removed from Diego Maradona's title-winning side, but to say things have deteriorated would be an understatement. Long gone is the diminutive playmaker, Carreccia and Ciro Ferreira, but there have at least been some arrivals. At the heart of the Neapolitan defence for the season ahead will be a 24-year-old Roberto Ayala. During his career, the Argentine would go on to win titles with River Plate, AC Milan and Valencia. At the centre of the park, we're able to call on Fabio Rosito. Attribute-wise, he looks pretty impressive, with exceptional determination and positioning. At the top of the field is the player I'm most excited about utilising, Igor Protti. He would play a single season on loan with Napoli, scoring just 4 Serie A goals. If we're able to have any chance of survival, that is going to need to improve dramatically. In fact, during the 97-98 season, Napoli would be joint bottom scorers in the entire league, finding the back of the net just 25 times, whilst conceding more than 3 times as many. Their 14-point total would be the 9th lowest in the history of Italian football, as they were consigned to relegation with many games to spare. Looking to avoid that fate, we'll be deploying a 3-5-2 formation. The strength of this team is really in the defensive areas, with some decent options at the back. From the outset, there isn't much quality on the wings, which we'll look to address in the transfer market. Whilst we do have a budget of 11 million, signing players is proving a little difficult. For 275,000, Angelo Tasca has joined the club. And for just under $1 million, we've acquired the Chilean Esteban Valencia. During the course of his career, he'd make 48 appearances with his national team, as well as winning 5 league titles in his homeland. After a few mixed results to open the season, we'd host Milan, looking for any kind of positive result. During his 5-year stay in Italian football, Marcel Desailly would win 2 Serie A titles and a Champions League, lining up alongside the likes of Maldini and Costa Corta. This was one of the best defences in modern football history. But despite that abundance of quality, the 97-98 season would be one to forget for Milan as they finished 10th in the standings. And here it would be a tough opening too, with an early goal conceded. But that opening 5 minutes would be all we'd get to cheer. 3 unanswered goals, including a brace by George Weah, ensured all 3 points for the visitors. 6 weeks later, and their cross-city rivals would make the trip south. In their ranks, Yuri Djorkaeff. This would be a remarkably successful season for the French international, as he got his hands on the UEFA Cup and the World Cup. Again though, we would taste defeat, with a comfortable 2-0 victory for the home side. But despite those disappointing results against the Giants, at the midway stage things are going very well. We're sitting comfortably mid-table with 25 points, 11 more than Napoli managed in the whole season in reality, and still with around 10 million to spend on signings, we'll be looking to bring in new arrivals this transfer window. Having barely played for Manchester United this season, we approach the Red Devils looking to bring Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Italy. Despite our £5.5 million bid being accepted, he wouldn't fancy a move, preferring instead to go to Newcastle. Our search for new signings continued. And that need would become essential. So far this season, Goretti in the defensive midfield has been outstanding, but a 5-month injury to him and his deputy Altomare have left us short in that department for the remainder of the campaign. But once again, we would struggle to attract any permanent signings. The only new arrival for the January window is a young Andrea Pirlo from Brescia. And his first game will be a baptism of fire. against that year's World Cup winning captain, Didier Deschamps. During 5 years in Turin, the French midfielder would play 174 games in black and white, winning 10 trophies along the way, but inside 5 minutes his side would trail thanks to a Massimiliano Esposito goal. This era of Serie A really had a lot of familiar faces who we now find in managerial dugouts around the world. Back in the 90s though, Simeone Inzaghi was mainly plying his trade in the lower echelons of Italian football. Our game against his side Piacenza, fellow relegation candidates, would end in a 0-0 draw away from home. With just a few weeks remaining in the season, we made the trip to the Stadio Olimpico to take on giants AS Roma. During the course of his career in Italy, Cafu would contribute 45 goals and assists in 282 matches. And he would continue that form as we took to the field, contributing 1 assist as his side looked to take control of the match early on. In probably our worst performance of the season yet, we were outclassed from start to finish. 4 goals, and really we were lucky it wasn't more. With the season over, here are our squad's full goal scoring stats. Proti would be the only one to make double figures, as he also contributed 8 assists. Not a bad return at all. Unsurprisingly, that wouldn't be enough to rank amongst the league's top scorers. Brazilian Ronaldo takes home the Golden Boot, averaging nearly a goal a game. But where would we rank in the standings? Well, it was a significant improvement on reality. In the end, we registered 37 more points, scored 16 more goals, and conceded 31 less. An 8th place finish left us just 6 points off European qualification. If we hadn't suffered disappointing results against the likes of Lazio and Udinese during the season, that could have been a real possibility. The 1997-98 Serie A season was one to forget for Napoli fans, as they entered a decade of yo-yoing between the 2 top divisions. Now an established Premier side in Italy, they'll be looking to avoid this fate again as they continue into one of the most successful periods in club history.